through the front door, take what is mine. I've been holding back so long, now it's time.
At home with Tracy and the Big D, and joining us tonight, a long time coming I can tell you, is Brendan McMahon. Brendan, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Absolute pleasure. Glad to be on the show.
Well, we've got a brand new single out today, but before we get on to that one, we were trying to get a hold of you when you released Jack. So Jack's the latest single that you had before today, so tell us a little bit about that one.
Well, Jack's a story about a 9-year-old bloke who, his dad came home one day from work and said he got a promotion, and what it meant is the family had to move from their little country town to a much bigger country town, and Jack didn't like that at all. So that's kind of the theme of the song Jack. I'm not going to say who Jack is because I don't want to incriminate myself.
That was my very next question. Was it?
I think I might have just put my foot in my own mouth.
You may have done. And of course, that's the first single off the new album, No Rush Today, which is coming out at the end of next month. And we've just released today the new song, Taking It Today. So Jax didn't want to go anywhere, and now he's taken the bull by the horns and said, well, you know what, I'm just going to take myself and do what I want to do.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Taking It Today is about. I mean, I've been playing and writing music seriously for the last 6 or 7 years, and it's about time I do something serious with it. So it's a bit of a wake-up call for myself, to be honest. But, you know, people out there who want to achieve goals and want to shoot for the stars, you know, they can take hold of Taking It Today and run with it as well. That's what the song's about.
Tracy mentioned the album, Brendan, the 5th album for you. What's changed since number 1 to number 5?
Quite a bit, actually. I think the first 2 albums I was going to put a band together originally. It all went back to a song I wrote in 2013, which sparked me on this journey of original music, because I'd played covers all my life. I didn't really know what musical style I was at that point. So, you know, I grew up on rock, you know, Kiss and Van Halen and stuff like that. And as the years go on, you mature and your tastes change. It kind of evolved. So the first 2 albums were under a band name. I called it Satellite Gods. As I went on the journey and kept writing and releasing, I thought I'd rather just be Brendan McMahon. I'd rather be a solo act and find my place and my style of music. And to be honest, it's taken 5 albums to really hone in on where I want to be. Best description would be alt country rock. Certainly got a much stronger country feel these days than the first album or 2. And that's not because I've pushed it that way. It's just because the writing heads that way now.
What do you think would you attribute the main influence that has allowed you to organically grow that direction?
I think storytelling. You know, country music is synonymous with storytelling. And, you know, I'm not a big fan these days of Me Too lyrics. I like to listen to music that has a story and you can visualise what the songwriter is singing about. You know, he'll paint a picture for you in words, and you can be there in that moment with the songwriter. And I think that's probably what it is for me.
The words and the story comes first before the melody?
Not always. Sometimes a guitar riff will come before the story, but the story evolves with how I write the tune, if you like. Quite often I'll edit and edit and edit the lyric until I find that it does tell a story and it is meaningful. I really don't have a set procedure for writing songs. It's all over the place, to be honest.
How has the last 6 months of the new way we look at things changed the way that Brendan McMahon writes songs?
Well, it's more reflective. I'm finding now, I've written a lot of songs through travel and experience overseas and even within Australia, but a lot overseas. In the last 6 to 8 months, it's been more reflective on my own life. I mean, Jack is a classic because I was thinking about that situation 6 months ago, 8 months ago when I wrote Jack. And I thought, oh, this could be a cool little song, cool little story, you know. So I'm finding there is a lot of my life's experience wrapped up in those songs. And that's probably how it's changed me. Seeing the world from other perspectives, I'm sort of looking inside a little bit these days.
Even though it's a personal story for yourself, it is so relatable to so many people that you don't really realise that, wait a minute, so many people have walked in those same shoes, different story, but the same sort of shoes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, it's funny, you know, my 3 sisters, they were really happy to move. And I was 9 years old and I was in love with my school teacher and, you know, I thought I was going to marry her and all those sorts of things. So There's no way I was moving. In fact, I think I might have said to Dad, well, all of you can go. I'll stay in this house and I'll live by myself because I'm more than capable to do that. You know, at 9 years old, I'm not thinking that's right.
Conquer the world. I notice you're doing a lot of Facebook Live concerts. Tell the people when you have them, what day, what time.
Yeah, well, I'm posting a lot of that sort of stuff, particularly in Victoria. It is the new gig, so it's probably more daunting doing those than a live gig. That might sound strange, but sitting there in front of a phone, you can't feel or see the reaction from people. So it's quite daunting looking at yourself in the screen of a phone and thinking, oh, is
Hello,
this good?
is
Is this
there?
bad? yeah, a bit different. But, you know, it's from a playing perspective, it does keep your skills honed, and you know you probably have to try a little bit harder when you don't have that crowd reaction to try and get yourself up for the ISO gig. So it's interesting.
So you have them on a Saturday?
Yeah, on a Saturday at 1 p.m. So I've done about 4 or 5. This week I'm doing all the Celtic tracks, and I'll also be doing Taking It Today, the new single.
What was the influence into Celtic tracks? I was a big fan of the Pogues years ago. What drove you that way?
Well, with a name like Brendan McMahon, you can imagine there's some ancestry there. So I can only assume that deep down in the bowels of Brendan McMahon, there's a bit of Irish heritage coming out. Because I love that music. You know, I used to live in a town called Kapunda in South Australia. It was funny when I was a kid. We used to have this Irish festival every year. We used to think they were bums and hippies that were going to steal everything from us. But, you know, because we were kids, we didn't know any better. All these long-haired Irish musicians used to come into Kapunda and stay for a week and do this Irish festival. Now that I look back on it, it was just amazing music. And they'd be in the streets, they'd be in the pubs, they'd be at the local footy oval, you know, just playing all this Irish music. So maybe it's a throwback to them. You know, I do enjoy writing an Irish-sounding song, a 6/8 song, I call them.
You had me in the pubs, mate. It's okay. You've got me. Taking It Today is the name of the new single. It's out and about as of today. You can follow Brendan McMahon, the website, Facebook, Spotify, Instagram and YouTube, all of the social medias. Brendan, it's been great to catch up with you tonight. We look forward to doing it again soon. Folks, the single, as I said, Taking It Today. Get hold of it today.
I'm mighty on my way, reaching hard for what there's to take. Listen now, make no mistake, there's no yesterday, 'cause I'm taking it today.